Have you ever had negative thoughts that just wouldn't stop? Or maybe you've had thoughts that go around in circles like a carousel, never reaching an endpoint but annoying and unpleasant at the same time. Hi, I'm Unbridled and this is my story. So, back in 2020, I was failing chemistry. There were a lot of factors involved, but basically I was doing really poorly in school and that affected my mental health. I felt hopeless because I was failing chemistry in school, and that got me messed up like really fucking bad. The anxious thoughts wouldn't stop and they had me convinced that I was a loser. This was all inside my head, by the way. My thoughts had me convinced that I was a loser. And I had no direction in my life, mind you. I felt lost and hopeless. I crossed the breaking point and just snapped. I had a panic attack and it got really fucking bad. So that day, I decided to call my best friend. And I remember crying on call, and he was very empathetic. He managed to calm me down and shit. But yeah, it was really fucking bad. And that sort of like really intense anxiety never really left me. And I entered college, so this was back in uni first year, and I experienced some of that anxiety again because of the exams and all the educational stuff. So yeah, that's when I realized that this was a problem and I needed to fix it. Because if my own thoughts were against me and were trying to convince me that I'm a loser, I would never get anywhere. Since I entered college with a shit mental health, I had difficulty socializing and engaging in behaviors that people normally would, but my anxiety prevented me from. This sort of mental environment was pretty normal for me for like a really long time. But it was back in last July that I discovered that there was a cure. But before we begin though, before I show you the way out, I need you to take this test. It's really important. I'll have the link below in the description. So take the test. It takes you like 2 minutes, I think, and then come back to this video. Alright, so I'm assuming that you got your scores. So if you got a score from like between 0 and 5, you're good. You really don't have that much anxiety. You just feel sort of anxious sometimes, which is pretty normal for like everyone. And if you have an anxiety score of like between 6 and 10, then you're mildly anxious, and you can like benefit quite a lot from this video. Now, if your score is above 10, then you're approaching like the upper limits of the anxiety spectrum, and yeah, that's really not good, and you should really work on lowering that. And if you have a score of 15 and above, I really think that you should get some professional help. But at the same time, I've been there. Okay, back in 2020, my score probably would have been like 20 or 21 even. So I know how it feels, and I know that I couldn't get myself to get the help that I needed. So yeah, I got you. This guide contains actionable steps that you can implement by yourself in your own life to better your anxiety, so you can like eventually fucking cure it. Okay, so it drops to 0. You don't have to worry about shit at all. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you very much for taking this seriously, for taking the test, and for watching the video, because I appreciate it. We're just trying to help each other grow. Okay, so before I give you the solution though, here's a bit of biology, because you need to understand the problem at its source in order to really appreciate the solution. And also it makes you like a more effective learner. So here you go. What you're seeing right now is the amygdala. This is the region that is associated with fear and fear responses basically. And what is fear? It's like a very stressful environment, right? And a hyperactive amygdala is the cause of your anxiety. When you're an anxious person, your amygdala is hyperactive, so that means that it's going to fire consistently even when it's not supposed to. So that causes you to have anxious feelings, or feelings of fear, or that something's going to go wrong, even when you know that that is irrational. You're still having these thoughts. Okay, so now I want you to look at this pic. This is the prefrontal cortex. It's the bit that has evolved most recently. It's like the latest addition to the human brain. Now this part is concerned with logic and reasoning, and it can exert its influence over all the different regions of the brain. So why is the prefrontal cortex important? Number 1, it helps you in planning, and it is concerned with the logic. So remember what I told you about the prefrontal cortex being able to exert its influence over the other parts of the brain. Well, and the most important thing is that the prefrontal cortex can increase or decrease the activity of certain parts of the brain. So if it can decrease the activity of the amygdala, that's your way out. No more anxiety. See, You might have anxiety and not even know that, but by taking that test, you do realize where you lie on that spectrum. So, once again, thank you for taking the steps towards bettering your life, because I appreciate it. We need more men like you. Okay, so this section contains practical steps, so I really want you to do these things, okay? It's like, watching this video will help you. Like, you're gonna know things, but you're also gonna have to do them in order to get the full benefit of this, because it's meant to be a practical video. Technique 1, mindfulness. Now, what does it mean, right? Well, basically, mindfulness means being aware of yourself and your surroundings. I'm explaining this in a really simple way. It's not that simple, but you're a beginner, and I want you to just get a feel for this. So mindfulness means being aware of your situation, of yourself, your position, as you are right now, in the present moment. So you're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just here, in the now. Now, why is it so powerful? Well, mindfulness, by definition, requires you to concentrate or focus on the now. So you're just like here, you're present. You're not thinking about anything. You're just concerned with yourself as you are right now. So you see how that combats anxiety. Like, anxiety makes you think about what's going to happen, or what happened, what could I have done differently. But mindfulness causes you to like just be here and focus on the now. So you're not really thinking about either of these things. There are two terms in biology that I want you to be familiar with. There's exteroception and then there's interoception. So overly anxious people are very interoceptive. What does that mean? They're extremely like hyper aware of what's going on in the inside. It's not like bodily sensations, even though that can be there. Psychosomatic anxiety is what it's called. But it's like all in your head. You're like thinking too much about like, oh, what is she going to say about me? Or what are they going to say about me when they see the clothes that I'm wearing? Or what is she going to think about me when she, I don't know, meets me or something? It's things like these, where you're thinking about possibilities in your head, right? That's interoception. Now what does exteroception mean? Well, basically you're focused on the outside. So let's say you're admiring like someone else's clothes. Maybe you're admiring a tree that you just walked by. Maybe you're admiring the birds in the sky. You're not focused on the inside. You're focused on the outside. Now, mindfulness causes you to be exteroceptive. Mindfulness causes you to get out of your head by causing you to recognize your thoughts and just be there in the present. Now, how does meditation tie into mindfulness? Well, meditation teaches you how to be more mindful. Think about it this way. Meditation is the tool that you use to be more mindful. So what does meditation do in terms of anxiety, right? Well, meditation causes your cognitive processes to develop way more. So your prefrontal cortex, remember we talked about that, gets bigger. Well, not actually, but like, think about it this way. You get big brain, and that causes your amygdala to shrink. And that actually happens, by the way. Your amygdala actually shrinks when you meditate. And your prefrontal cortex also gets stronger, so that causes like your anxiety to really fucking go down, right? And also you sort of unlock new levels of thinking. I will also be making a meditation video, so you can look forward to that. I'll include details like how to meditate, how to get started. What it actually is, I'll like dive into the details, so yeah, you can look forward to that. But I'll explain meditation in brief, so pay attention. First of all, focus on building a habit. You haven't meditated before, so don't expect to like gain nirvana in a day, or like gain an epiphany, because that doesn't happen when you don't meditate, or you haven't meditated for like years on end. It's just like hitting the gym. Imagine a fat guy and he wants to lose some weight. He needs to go to the gym regularly for like a few months before he begins to see some results, right? It's the same thing here. So let's say I have you convinced to join this mental gym. Well, how do you start, right? You can do this in 2 steps. Learn and then practice, and then repeat that infinitely. Now, where do you learn? Well, I'm very proud to say this. I've been using Medito for like 7, 8 months now. It's a free app. It's available for both Android and Apple, like iOS. It's completely free, and they have like tons of guided meditations that you can follow. So they make you start from like 1-minute meditations, and then slowly make you work your way up to like 10-minute meditations, and then like it's really amazing. I don't want to spoil it because it's like an incredible journey, and I want you to experience it for yourself. So go download Medito. I'll have the link in the description. Just get started with Medito. There's like a pack there. It's called Getting Started. Do that. You'll build the habit in no time at all, and you'll even enjoy the process. So meditating won't feel like a chore. you'll actually fucking enjoy it, like take my word. Now, you will miss some sessions, but that's completely okay. I'm really proud of you for taking your mental health in your own hands and like taking this positive step towards bettering yourself. Now, here's a useful tip for meditation. Couple your meditation habit with something else that you do regularly every fucking day. So maybe meditate after eating, maybe meditate just before starting your work. I personally meditate before working, so it's like coupled in. So I meditate, do some stuff, organize, and then I start working. So you can do that, or maybe you can like find your own routine, something that sticks, that's uniquely yours. But yeah, meditate, it really fucking helps. Now, why am I focusing so much on meditation and mindfulness, right? Well, mindfulness and meditation basically is the solution for anxiety. Mindfulness is like 20% of the work that you need to do, but it solves 80% of the problems. See how that's like so disproportionately in your favor? You just need to put 20% of effort in mindfulness and you'll get 80% benefit of reduced anxiety. That is a really fucking good deal. Take it. Technique 2, purposefully diverting yourself from your thoughts. So think about it this way. Maybe you're having an anxious thought and then suddenly your fucking alarm goes off. Are those thoughts going to be in your head at that very moment? Most likely no. You're going to go to turn the alarm off and then those thoughts might come back. But what happened in that instant? Your anxious thoughts were diverted. You were diverted. Your attention was removed from the anxious thoughts to something else. And you can do that. So as you meditate, you're going to gain this awareness of thoughts. When you find yourself going down that spiral of anxiety, stop yourself. Now you're actually going to be able to do that. It's not just going to be like something wishy-washy, I don't know, a piece of advice that doesn't work. It's not going to be like that. You're actually going to be able to do that. So stop yourself, recognize the thought, and direct your attention to something else. So maybe that's like the clothes that you're wearing, or like, I don't know, the sounds from your surroundings. You can divert your thought to anything as long as it like gets your mind away from the anxious thoughts, and you can actually do that. So yeah, meditate. You're going to gain the superpower as well. Here's a bonus technique just for you. So this bonus technique is called the grounding technique. It's basically neutralizing your thoughts, right? Like it happens instantly and it works 100% of the time. It's not long lasting, but you can use it as many times as you want. Now this is not meditation, so you don't have to like sit properly, like upright posture and anything. You don't have to do any of that. You can do it like slouched or whatever. So what is it, right? What is the grounding experience? Well, you just like take a moment, separate yourself from the moment and just take a breath in. So like, that's it. One breath, focus on the breath. Now, as I'm recording this, I'm also feeling a bit anxious, right? Because I'm not really used to putting videos on the internet, so watch me ground myself. Now, if you could map my objective anxiety, you'd see that after grounding myself, that actually dropped. So maybe it was like this high before, and now it's this high. And that really works. I'm not bullshitting you. Try it for yourself. Try it for one breath. Just focus on the breath and take a long exhale and just let all your worries disappear. Now here's a really good tip. Meditate every single day. You don't need to take rest days because meditation itself is rest, and you're going to discover so many great benefits that it's really not worth me spoiling it for you. But yeah, I hope my advice helps, and once again, thank you so much for watching. Keep improving yourself. I'm really fucking proud of you. Much love.